Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're in week 7. Flying high with the birds, Philadelphia Eagles talk. I am the Godfather. With me today are the podcast chaplain, Jimmy. What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. We're real good. And also the Armenian Hammer. Vahe, how you doing?
Hi guys, how's everybody?
We're good. And pretty soon, hopefully, the seal the deal man should be on shortly. He just texted me. So anyway, Eagles win 35-13 against the Steelers, 7-0. Jimmy, what do you say?
From my opinion, I think that was our most complete game of the year. I mean, they dominated in all aspects of the game, I thought, and I thought it was their most complete game of the year.
Not all aspects.
Well, we had one good special team play.
Well, but the other 7 were horrible. So
well, we had one. We're making progress.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But Vahe, what'd you think?
I think the team is basically the way they structured it to the strengths of Jalen Hurts. And I was listening to a couple of podcasts, and they were saying that what they did in the offseason, they tried to see what his strengths are. And they basically got all those guys to complement him and make him look really, really good. And one thing that they were talking about is that the Eagles, they have a triple threat option. It's either running or the quarterback running or the passing the ball. And that's why it's so hard to figure out what they're going to do, because either one of them could be lethal. They have, like, in those skill positions, they have, like, superstars.
They have so many weapons, so many.
That's why everybody keeps saying that they need to bring another running back to complement Sanders if they want to really go to the Super Bowl and win it. Because I think that's one thing that they're missing, somebody to back up Sanders.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that too, because the other 2 guys, Boston Scott and Gainwell, they're playing less and less. It's like almost garbage time carries for those 2. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is somebody's going to go, and I kind of think that it may end up being Boston Scott, because Gainwell's still only in his second year. So, and Scott's, he could do the job if he was if he had to be the bell cow if Sanders was hurt. But I'm starting to see the possibility that, I don't think I don't know how much he really contributes on special teams. He's really too small to block in the backfield because he's too small. He doesn't have the size to block a linebacker coming at him on a pass rush. I don't know. So he's just playing. It seems like he's playing less and less, and I'm beginning to think that. And they're talking about that guy, Kareem Hunt from Cleveland, possibly. But today was the trade deadline, and as of 4:00, I don't think they made any moves.
Yeah, they were talking about Hines today, and he ended up going to the Bills last second, I think, from the Colts.
Yeah, so you get those teams that are really loading up for the Super Bowl right now, and the Buffalo's one of those teams. In fact, Buffalo is still the NFL has them ranked number 1 in the power rankings. But let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Hurts and his overall development. And Jimmy, let's just discuss, like, how much percentage-wise. Let's do a percentage. How much do you think he is a better quarterback than he was last year?
I think he's a totally different quarterback. And Vahe made the good point. They went out and surrounded him with pieces that fit his game. But even his throwing looks like it's getting a lot better. Those passes he made to A.J. Brown, A.J. Brown made great catches, but he put it right there where Brown could go up and make a play. I'm very impressed with him. It's just, what are we going to pay him? What's he going to get? That's the big question.
Well, obviously the hammer here is the money guy. So maybe you can lend a little bit of intuition with us with all that. What kind of money do you think he might be demanding next year?
250. 100.
Right.
Well, that's what that's
Right,
what
that-
was his name. Russell Wilson got, right?
Yeah, it's
And
funny. I was looking.
and he's cooked.
Yeah, I was looking up top quarterbacks. Like Kyler Murray's like the fourth highest paid quarterback. He's making $40.5 million a year.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers is one at 50. Deshaun Watson and Wilson are right there in the high. Like Wilson might be 52, I think, actually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Deshaun's like 40. Deshaun Watson's 46 million.
And I think Cousins is in the 40s. I think he might be 48.
Yeah, he
And
might.
that-
He's up there too. They're all up there.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully, he takes a team-friendly deal where he doesn't take up the whole payroll, because then we're really going to make decisions.
well, that's true. And look at all the guys that we got to sign next year. And we've talked about that ad nauseum over the
Well,
past.
Bradbury is
few
not
weeks.
coming. He's Bradbury, right? He's not coming back.
Yeah, I know that.
That guy is like he's going to get like.
He's going to get payday. Yep.
Yeah,
he's gonna
but
get paid.
but he's not that young. I think he's 30. He's on the early side of 30, I believe.
Is he?
I thought he was. I mean, you can look it up, but I thought he was
Is he?
30. I'll look it up.
Yeah, see, that sounds about right. 29, 30.
Yeah, so I mean, who's going to give somebody that kind of money that's that
They-
age? You really don't know.
Maybe Howie can work some magic and tell him, look what we got going here. I can give you this.
You know what? I mean, the thing is that I was looking the other day and I text you guys about it. I still can't figure out what the Titans were thinking, right?
Yeah.
They let AJ Brown go and they picked Treylon Burks. It's like, seriously? I mean, what is it?
He was
It's all
an
about the
outs-
money?
He was an outstanding receiver at Arkansas, but he didn't really have the breakaway speed, and I thought that he would really be the guy. I don't know if he's hurt, and I don't know why he's really not playing. But that team's like in a shambles. They almost lost that game last week to the Houston Texans last week. So I mean, they got a lot. But there's a lot of teams that are struggling now.
But no, I mean, I get that part. The thing is that you have like a gem like AJ Brown on your team. It's not like
And he-
basically you go somewhere else, right?
and he's
on your
young.
team. He's young, and you don't want to sign him, right? And you let him go, and you pick some dude that's not doing anything for you. So
Abai, I think he has more receiving yards and catches than the whole Titans receivers combined.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I heard that today, actually.
Yep.
So
I mean, those three
Did he
catches for
change- he
touchdown, those three touchdowns, they were amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
he was double covered too.
yeah,
I mean, he was really, really
He
amazing.
changed the whole offense around. That's what happens when you get a number one guy. It opens everybody else up.
yeah,
And I like the way he taunted them at the end.
Yeah,
Won
I
it.
did too.
that
like
was
that.
fun. I knew a flag was coming.
Yeah.
I knew a flag was going to come when that happened.
It was.
I like, yep.
Yeah, now
Let it go.
we got Will on now, and we've been talking about your favorite quarterback since he was drafted 2 years ago. But we're talking about the kind of money that we think he may be demanding next year, and we're thinking that if it's not a team friendly deal, then Howie's going to have some real issues trying to sign some of these guys that are on the final year of their contract.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be a team friendly deal. He's going to get top quarterback dollar, like whatever the going rate is. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be top. He's not going to take a team friendly deal. I can promise you that it's not going to happen.
Would the three of you comfortably say that he is an elite quarterback in the NFL right now?
I think you need to win a playoff game to be in that company. That's just my opinion.
I think
You need.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I think you need to show it in the playoffs. That's when people earn their money. That's just my opinion.
I think he proved to us that he can develop, because I think that was a big question. I don't know if he's elite, but he's looking like he can develop, and he's going to put in the work to get better. But yeah, Jimmy's right. You got to actually be able to win a playoff game and show to us, that you're that elite type guy. Because when I look at him and then I look at somebody like Josh Allen, it's night and day. I don't care like how many wins Jalen Hurts has under his belt right now. I mean, you look at the two and they don't look like the same quarterback. And that's not a knock on Jalen Hurts. It's just, Allen just he looks amazing. That's an elite type quarterback.
I disagree. He's put it this way. I don't think he's far and away better, but he's definitely the better quarterback. But I think that Hurts is pretty close. And the only quarterbacks that I think that right now that I would put in front of him are Mahomes and Allen. And I'll tell you, I think he's better than Burrow right now too. I would say that he's comfortably in the top 5 with the year he's having. And that has a lot to do with their record. But also, here's the way I look at it. They're 7-0. And if you look at their record and their players and all, 7-0, this has Howie Roseman's name is earmarked all over this. Well, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but we blasted him on this podcast the last 2 years. Yeah. Blasted him. Now he's like God. He's like he's the only guy that's making these amazing moves. So I don't know.
And he's got picks this year to work with too.
Well,
he's got 2 first-round picks to work.
That's what I'm kind of surprised at. He goes to the Titans, he gives them a first-round pick and says, "Okay, give me AJ Brown." They said, "No problem." Then they goes to New York and Bradbury. I don't know whether he was cut or what. He picks up Bradbury, comes here, becomes like a superstar, and then he goes to Saints and he gets that Chauncey Gardner, right? It's like,
great pickup. That great pickup.
I mean, it's like as if like the whole thing is rigged, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
He's got Chauncey Gardner has 4 picks already.
Yeah.
I think 4 picks in his last 3 games. He had a sack last week also. He's like just a guy they needed almost. And he's
exactly.
He's always John too. Like he's always like
he's got swag.
Him. Yes. He's got a lot of, he's a high energy guy and he says what's on his mind a lot. He's perfect for this team and for this fan base.
They're so good that what was the guy? The Kobe Dean, right?
Dean.
He's not even on the field, right? Is he playing at all?
Well, TJ Edwards is having a great year. Now, Will and I talked about this.
He was supposed to be a star, right?
Yeah, but that's
I think he's still going to be.
Who? Edwards?
Kobe Dean.
I think he will be. So does that mean that Edwards is expendable?
I think one of them are, either him or White, right?
Boy, I'll tell you, White's pretty good too.
One of them have got to be, especially if Hurts gets, especially that we got to sign Hurts.
Well, I mean, think about this. They really have 3 linebackers. The other one is Reddick. They got 3 new linebackers, and all of them are playing great. Reddick's the best. He gets the most pressure of anybody on this football team right now. It's just, I don't know. It's like
everything he's done has turned to gold. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team is completely different. Now, let's listen. I'm not going to spend all day on this, but let's talk about this special teams. Michael Clay, I did some research on him. He played at Oregon, University of Oregon. He was a linebacker. He's a big dude. He's about 6'3", 230. And I think he just had a cup of coffee with the Miami Dolphins. And then he's been coaching ever since. But this special teams has struggled for the last 2 years, not just this year, but last year as well. I just feel like they're not prepared. And knowing this football team and the management, I think that if they see something that's going to be an Achilles heel, they're going to change it. I don't know what you guys think.
They need a new punter. The guy.
Yeah, well, he's average. He's average. But I mean, the last 2 games, they both in both games at Dallas, I guess it was Dallas, and then last week they did a fake punt and they got a first down out of it. So that's alarming to me. And I know that I'm a Covey guy. I really like him, but he's just okay. He's shorthanded. And I'm wondering if they put Greg Ward back on the practice squad. I'm wondering if they did that because potentially they might be releasing Covey. I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. The special teams, I think, it's just going to be what it is this year. And I think it's something that they're going to just have to take a hard look at in the offseason. I mean, it's clearly the weakest part of the team, and everybody knows it. I think like what makes the Eagles a little different than other teams is they'll draft guys specifically just for special teams, and I think they have the most like special teams designated players than more than half the league. I think like a third of the league. And to me, that's probably why the special teams isn't as good as it is because other teams have, quality starters on it and we don't. But I think that's going to be a big focus this offseason.
Hopefully after they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, and then we'll just draft another guy like Malata. We'll just take a chance on like a rugby player.
7th round draft, free agent, as a matter of fact. But it's something we were talking about that guy that Howie loved last year, that Tyree Jackson. Remember? What a great guy. He actually now has a 21-day window. They said he's healthy enough to play. So they gave a 21-day window, and then they got to decide he's actually off of IR, coming off of IR. So they got to make a decision on what to do with him. Now they got 3 tight ends. Are they going to make the move to keep him on the roster, or like if they release him, is somebody going to pick him up? Are they going to release him and then no one picks him up, and then hopefully he can land on the practice squad? I don't know. And then they also got that guy. What was that guy's name? Tower, and he's on the practice squad. I forget his name. Hawaiian guy or something. I think his name was Tagoa or something like that. And he actually suited. He was on the roster. I think he came off the practice squad and played the first game, but he's been on the practice squad since. So they're going to have to make a decision about him as well. I always, when we do these podcasts, you always look at things that you feel like are a problem with this team. Like Jimmy, like you were saying at the beginning of the pod, I don't see many weaknesses right now with this team. And I think we'd be nitpicking at this point if we did.
Yeah, I mean, I can only think of running back off the top of my head, really. That's why I thought they were going to go and get somebody, but I guess they couldn't make it work. Like, I can't really think of anywhere else. Can you?
No.
Yeah, that's why it's getting kind of boring. I just want to go to the Super Bowl. Just fast forward.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, just like every week, the same thing over and over again.
Well, what we should do? Let's bag the rest of the pods because we know what's going to happen, and just have the pod before the Super Bowl.
Let's go to the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills and Philadelphia Eagles. Where is it? In Tampa, right? Where is the Super Bowl? No, Arizona, right?
Arizona. It's in Arizona.
Tampa,
Well, let's
Arizona.
talk about real quick the NFC. I mean, guys, tell me, what teams worry you in this conference?
49ers worry me. That's the one team that I'm afraid of. That's the only team that really scares me right now, the 49ers. I'm not afraid of Dallas or Tampa Bay. The 49ers are the one team that I fear. Even Minnesota, I'm not that scared of because Cousins has never won a big game. But I kind of like the formula.
Even for 49ers, they have to come to Philadelphia in January to play in the playoffs. And that's going to be really tough. You're coming from California to Philadelphia in January. That will be like really free.
Well, but they went to Green Bay last year and hammered Green Bay in the snow, if you remember, in that playoff game last year. So
Saturday night game.
Yeah. But then again, you're talking about a team that has not a real mobile quarterback. He's more of a game manager. And
who is it? Garoppolo?
Garoppolo right now. Lance is out for the season, I believe, right?
Yeah.
He's out for the season.
Yeah.
So, but like you were saying the second week of the season, actually, the quarterback play has not really been that good this year. And I think that's a reason why a lot of teams are not, like Tampa's not that good. Green Bay's not that good.
You look around the league and there's just a lot of just bad quarterback play. And a lot of teams just aren't, there's no like powerhouse teams in the NFL besides probably the Bills. And you can even put the Chiefs in there. Like, they're great teams. But for the NFC, I mean, the only team that really scares me, or a couple teams, is, like Jimmy said, the 49ers, because I think Christian McCaffrey fits into that offense like perfectly, like a glove, because Garoppolo loves just dumping the ball off. And that's why, I mean, fantasy-wise, he got me like 40 points last week.
Look at that.
Wow.
It's a great pick by you. Did you get him number 2?
I took him number 2.
Great.
But other than them, I still think Dallas is really good.
Yeah.
They're really they're kind of just hiding in the wings. They're like a sleeper team. And then I wouldn't write off the Vikings just yet. I think that they're pretty explosive.
So would you say those are your top 4 teams?
Yeah, those 3 and the Eagles. I think that's the teams that are really gonna,
I agree.
strong. Can't count out the Giants yet either.
They have a good defense, but the offense like shaky.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, they're going to
thing
beat a
is,
team
like,
with their defense.
The Giants can really move the ball with Daniel Jones's legs. Like he just keeps them going somehow. I don't like they're not gonna pass all over you. They have Barkley, who's good, but teams are just stacking the box against them.
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones is kind of just keeping them in it, but with his legs and having some pretty decent third down stats. But they're a scrappy team.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you, I think for me, Dallas worries me because when I saw that first game, they have a very fast defense, but they did give up 29 points against the Bears last week. So, and they have some guys on the defense that's hurt, and Dak is back as well. I don't know. Tampa kind of worries me a little bit because I think if you give Tom Brady a week to prepare for a game, I don't know. I wouldn't want to play against him in the playoffs, but I know that their team is a shambles compared to what it was last year. So I don't know, but I would say the Tampa for me.
I
would
mean,
be
the
up
guy's
the
like,
outside.
it's so stupid. He came back, and obviously he's not doing well. He got divorced, and just like he's so much ego.
Right. He's ruined his legacy. I'm a big Brady guy, and it's like he's been away from the team 3 different times already now, and I'm sure that obviously is affecting the team.
Oh,
and how
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I knew at the beginning when there was some rumors that there's having problems at home. I said, "There's no way he can focus on football."
Yeah,
because
there's 10 days in August.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
well, let me ask you this: don't you think that there's a stupid thing? I'm not stupid, but something I thought about. Do you think that when he took in Antonio Brown, do you think that that's possibly what got this whole thing started? I mean, Brown is a distraction, and I don't know if apparently he was living with them for a while, from what I recall. Now he's bad mouthing both of them. So
he's just a loser.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it goes back to his issue with his wife. I think the thing he was taking her for granted, and she said, "You know what? I'm done." Yeah. And she meant it. Probably he didn't think she was serious. She
says
said, "No."
Playing football in the NFL is a 45-year-old guy. I don't care what kind of shape you're in, but that's risking it. But I'll tell you, he still, to me, is a very good quarterback. I mean, when you look at him throwing, he looks really good.
Yeah, but something's definitely wrong there. And I'm not sure, but I think, remember they said that he takes off on Wednesdays now this year?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if that's still going on now that the divorce happened, but I mean, that's a big day to miss because I think Wednesday's the final practice before like your walkthrough.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Unless they're doing it differently. I don't know.
Especially being the quarterback too, because they're usually there on the off day, Tuesday and Wednesday morning, working on the playbook for the upcoming week.
Yeah. Let's turn back to the Eagles real quick. Davis looks like he's got a high ankle sprain, and he's going to be out. I know he's not playing Thursday. High ankle sprains tend to linger. He could be out for a few weeks, maybe more than a few weeks. I don't know how you guys feel, but I have no problem keeping him on the shelf for a little bit and letting him heal.
Yeah, I would. I mean, we have a lot of depth now on the defensive line. And the thing is, like, a high ankle sprain, that hurts. I've heard it's worse than like when you break a bone. But the thing is, like, he's so big. They say 4 to 6 weeks, but because of his weight, like, I just can't see it being anywhere, I'm thinking more like 6 to 8 weeks.
So that could be till near the end of the season, end of the regular season. But Yeah, that's a good point. And
But you look at the teams we're playing and how much depth we have. I don't think you really need him. You might as well save him and just make sure he's ready for the playoffs.
well, then obviously by tomorrow, Thursday, they're going to obviously be taking somebody off the practice squad to play, and it might be that I think is his name Johnson, the guy from Florida State that's on the practice squad right now. They may put him. They
Who's
may
that?
activate him.
Who's that? Is that the receiver?
No. He's a defensive tackle. I might be wrong. I thought his last name was Johnson, but I might be wrong. But he's like 300-pound defensive lineman that was the number one rated player in high school player when he was a senior in high school. And he played either at Florida or Florida State. And he's on the practice squad in the Eagles right now. And he's got a lot of potential.
They're like dog favorite, 13 points.
Yeah.
They're giving the Eagles 13 on the road.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Tui Peloto, I like the way he's playing. I think he's getting some pressure. It looks like he really did his work in the offseason. He's getting more and more snaps. I like the job he's doing. And what was he, a 5th-round pick? Yeah, last year it was a 5th-round pick, I believe. So all those picks seem to be doing okay last year. So think about this, going back to Howie. His last 2 years in the draft, he did terrific. And then he picked up a lot of good players. So I'll tell you, he's
on a roll.
Yeah, he sure is. He's the guy right now.
Is he the best GM in football?
I would say without a doubt.
Yeah. Who else is
doing? Right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, you know what else? I'm a little worried about the offensive line. I think maybe we're starting to see some chinks in the armor here. We got, Kelsey's like, he's been hurt a couple times. You figure this is probably going to be his last year. What's the name of the right tackle, for God's sakes? I can't think of
Johnson.
Lane Johnson. I'll tell you, he had a lot of pressure against him. And so did Mulatto on the other side in this game last week. And I was listening to the Inside the Birds podcast, and Trey Thomas was on there, and he was saying that the reason why the two of them struggle were because they were both going up against edge rushers. And when you deal with an edge rusher, you got to punch. And neither one of them seemed to be punching. That's what he took from the game. So, I'm getting a little worried because Johnson's in his 30s. Kelsey's probably in his last year. The left guard is starting to, like, he's already come out a few times. I know he's played every game, but he's been hurt a couple of times. Mulata's been hurt with his shoulder. So I think that more and more Jeff Stoutland's job is going to be more and more important as time goes along here. So I'm a little concerned also about the offensive line. I don't know what you guys think.
No, you're right. You always have to worry about the line. That's, you win there. You win your offensive line and defensive line.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Especially Lane Johnson. If you remember last week, a couple of weeks ago when they were playing against Dallas.
Yeah,
when he got the concussion, he was out, and then on the right side, suddenly the whole thing started collapsing.
Well, Driscoll's really not a tackle. Well, but one thing I like about tackle is that he'll take one for the team. He'll go wherever they tell him to go. And Stoutland has done a real good job of cross training him. I mean, he could even play center. I think he's a very valuable player on this team. And there's an outside chance that he could be starting somewhere in this team in the next year or two. That's just my take on this whole thing. But, I'm looking like where do we have some other chinks in the armor here? I don't see anything. I know at receiver, Quez Watkins, I'm really starting to question him. I know he doesn't get many opportunities, but the one he had, like, it would have been it was a 50-50 ball, but he should have caught it. And for some reason, he's got a habit of having balls go right through his hands. And that ball, like, he could have caught the ball. But the ball, when you looked at the replay, it just went right through his hands, and he doesn't get many opportunities. But I know at the same time that he's, a lot of why he's in there is to clear things out for the other wide receivers. But, are we going to see a change from him to Pascal. I don't know. I like Pascal.
Pascal, he played a couple of plays. He didn't.
touchdown.
He had a touchdown too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
You know, I was
Yeah.
surprised there was this guy that they picked up from San Fran, that big running back, and he played a couple of weeks ago, and he
Trey
looked good.
Sermon.
Yeah, and then suddenly he's not playing anymore. Or
Yeah,
he's-
I'll tell you, his last year, he transferred from Oklahoma to Ohio State. His senior year and I know I said this before in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern, I think it was. I think he ran for 230 yards. He was unstoppable that day. And he's a big guy too. And they got him for that reason. I don't know. I mean,
he
could he be
played
the
well a
guy?
couple of weeks ago, and then suddenly, is he still on the team, or is it that
No, he's on
back?
he's on
Not back on this practice squad.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad. But there's a guy that could get picked up by somebody if they're not, if he's not protected. So, I don't know. But any other thoughts, anything that you guys thought that might be important here? Because I don't see anything that this team needs to really improve on it.
If they don't make it to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a major disappointment. Seriously, no. Hey, you're 7-0, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have anything. You want to be 8-0. Hopefully, if you show up to the game, and it's like you have to get the first round bye.
You
And
think
then
our
what?
team's really been tested yet? With the
Yeah,
schedule
they
we've
beat
been
Dallas and they beat Vikings, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Even though the Vikings, are 6-1, I'm not super impressed with them, but they manhandled that wide receiver that gets all the yards for them. So I'll
Jefferson.
say that they really did good. But here's the other thing. This team's going to be a lot different personnel wise within the next 2 years, because you figure you got Slays in his early 30s. Is he going to be here in 2 years? Is Bradbury going to be here next year? Is Lane Johnson going to be here in 2 years? Kelsey's probably going to be gone next year. You got a lot of guys that might be leaving this team. And then you got the guys that, that are the other guys that have a contract coming up, like TJ Edwards and Kaiser White and Chauncey Gardner Johnson. So I know they're built to try to win this year, but this team could look a lot different next year, no matter what happens this
Yes,
year.
that's
What do
why.
What do you guys think? Like, if you had the first guy you got to prioritize, is it Bradbury, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, and who's the-
Gardner Johnson would be
Gardner
another one.
I would go Bradbury and Gardner Johnson.
I agree.
Bradbury is 29. Now I'm going to go against the grain here. I would say it's for one of the guys. I would have to say one of the two linebackers, White or Edwards. I don't know why. I just think that they're a big
But
reason.
they got Nicobe Brown, right? Nicobe Dean.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But Edwards is playing out of his mind, and White's really good too. Think about this. Kaiser White led the Los Angeles Chargers in tackles last year, and the Eagles signed him. I mean,
Yeah.
and he's
One of
making
them
good
will definitely
plays.
be here next year. One of them have to be. I don't think both are here.
I don't know.
You think both could be here?
It's possible. I mean, Howie has done a lot
But
of things.
he's never really signed a linebacker. This would be like the first time ever that they actually pay a linebacker for a long period of time.
But
And
this is,
Howie, always wants to be right though. And he drafted Nicobe Dean, so that's why I can see him just fitting right into TJ Edwards' spot, because they basically have the same role, just Dean's faster to cover.
well, this is also the first year that they grabbed 3 new linebackers. 3. They got 3 new linebackers. So that's why I think that maybe they're valuing the importance of the linebacker position now. So, and the thought was that with Davis coming in, that maybe they were going to do a little bit more 3-4, which they have not been doing. And I was really under the assumption that eventually that was going to happen the more Davis played. So that still remains to be seen, because if they go to a 3-4, then Nicobe Dean's going to be a guy that's going to be on the field. So I don't know. So maybe scheme could change somehow. I don't know. But
How long do we have Reddick for?
what, another
They
3
just signed
years?
him, right?
Was that
3
4
years.
years? Was that
3
4
or
years? Or
4
am I
years.
making that
So
up?
yeah, he's good. Epps is good. Malata's good.
How about Cox? I mean, if they cut him next year, it's going to cost them a lot of money.
I don't know. I knew this year it was going to cost them a lot of
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
I don't
this
know
year.
about next year. So, but anyway, let's go real quick to, we're not going to talk that much on the Houston game.
Just pick.
Hey, what's the line and what's it telling you?
The line telling me if the Eagles show up, just show up, they're going to win. -13.
13. I think it
Road
should be
game.
more than that.
Huh?
I think it should be more than 13.
Well, they're on the
Short
road.
week. You short week and you're traveling. I mean, you have to take that into consideration too.
Both teams are
Minus
playing on a short
13?
week.
That's a lot.
Both teams. I know that I watched some of their game last week. They got that rookie from, I think it's Florida. He runs really hard.
Pierce. Pierce, right? Is it
Yes.
Pierce?
He's
really
good.
I like him.
He runs hard. He's going to run for some yards, but I think they're going to force Mills to pass, and they don't have much of a passing game. They're that's a whole different animal. Lovie Smith is our head coach, and I just don't think he's got the horses to even compete in this game. I might be wrong, but Now here's a question. I got a question for you. Eagles play Thursday night, right?
Mhm.
Phillies play Thursday night. What are you watching?
I'll be at the World Series game, so I'll be watching the Phillies.
I think I'm gonna be watching the Phillies too, and I'll have the Eagles on the radio or something.
All right, I'm
You
going to do.
cannot watch them.
I'm
How
gonna
can
go,
you expect? Yeah, you got to watch Phillies playoffs.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna watch the Eagles and probably listen to the Phillies. And if it's the game that the Phillies have a chance to win the World Series near the end, then I'll put the TV on and watch.
You'll hear all the fireworks.
I don't think they can win it on Thursday. Right? Today's what? Today? Oh, no, they can win it on Thursday.
Yeah,
Wow.
they have to.
Oh,
If they
wow.
win today, tomorrow.
Thursday.
and-
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You can have a
So-
parade on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So-
did hear something. I don't want to jinx it. If they do win, they wouldn't have the parade until Wednesday because of Election Day Tuesday. And
Yes.
they don't want things getting screwed up. And your boy told me this today at the gym. Your boy from North Catholic.
Who?
What's his name? Mike?
Oh, Mike McBride.
Yeah, he told me that. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, he would know.
We got a shout out to him. There you go.
Yeah, shout out to him and Allstate Insurance.
Told me at the gym.
Yeah,
World
I'll
of
tell
wisdom.
you, I don't know. These three, I mean, it's going to be a tall task to win 3 in a row. I know they're at home. But the weather's supposed to be really nice. It's not going to be too cool. So I don't know who that benefits.
They got to get 2 or 3 at least in Philly, right? Right,
They're
Will?
gonna win all 3.
Oh, boy.
We're not losing a home game all playoffs.
That crowd, man. Who
The
wants
crowd
to-
is dangerous.
Yup, 100% right.
And what are they at home? Well, what are they? 10-3 in the playoffs. What are they at home?
5-0.
Yes,
Yeah, they won all their games at
Undefeated.
home.
they're right. They're 5-0. They are
They haven't lost
5-0.
any. They haven't lost any home game.
Yeah, that is
That's
amazing.
gonna be
So,
insane.
yeah,
The crowd is just so different than any other stadium in baseball. Like it's crazy in Philly.
yeah.
And everybody says it. All the announcers say that like they've never seen a crowd like that.
Well, let me put it to you this way. If the Eagles get to the NFC Championship game at the Link, that fan base will be crazy, like
Yeah.
it was a few years ago when they beat Minnesota in 17. So, hey, the Philly fan base, period, is crazy.
Yeah.
But with all the
We're the
crap
best.
going on, all the stuff going on in the city, I think this city really needs this. It's really a good thing to have, a couple of sports teams and maybe even more than these two that are really, starting to do good and people are, feel good about, their sports teams. So,
Talk about amazing. You were on the money.
oh, well, yeah,
35
we're going to talk about that. now.
35-13. Wow.
Yeah, so we're not even- Yeah. Now listen, the agreement was that if you were on the money, you get 2 points.
Yeah.
You remember
I
that?
agree.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that means
Wow.
I got 4.
Yep.
Pod Chaplin and the Hammer both have 2. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. So, so I lied to my wife when I told her we all bet $100. And I played the score, and I said, and I think we said that we double it if you get the score right on the money. But that was great when it was 35-13. When they scored, it was 35-13 with about 8 minutes left. I thought this is great because Pittsburgh's not going to try to get a field goal. They got to try to score a touchdown. And if the Eagles get the ball back, they're not going to try to run it down their throats and run up the score. And it was just perfect. It just
And you hit it.
beautiful. Yeah.
Damn.
So, but anyway, let's do, I know nobody really cares, but since we're on, let's do predictions for the Houston game, although none of you are going to watch it.
I'll watch. Just flip it back and forth.
Yeah. So this could be a tough one. What do you think?
I say Eagles 27, Texans 13. They cover.
I'll say 24-7 Eagles.
I think it's going to be like more like 35-10 or 35-7.
Damn it, bye. I was gonna say this.
Look at that.
Okay, but never mind. Yeah, Will, you go. You go.
Yeah,
you go.
No,
You go.
no.
Will,
I'm
you go.
going Eagles 36.
Can you have a 36 and score?
Yeah, 36. Yeah, they're going to get 6 touchdowns and miss all the extra points.
38 sound better?
There you go.
Yeah, 38 to what?
38-6.
Okay, you know it was great. I can't remember who it was. I think it was the Dallas game. And I said, everybody, I want your predictions. And everybody gave me scores, and then Jimmy says, yeah, the Eagles are going to win. I said,
I did.
you had no shot at winning anything.
No shot.
So, yeah, I think, I don't know. Could this possibly be a trap game? It's possible. I doubt it. But, look at it this way. Coming up, they got Houston, then
Commanders.
Washington, and then Indy. They could all be trap games here. So they really got to be careful. I mean, Washington's going to come out, even though that game's at home.
That's a Monday night game too, I think.
Oh,
right?
it is. Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Yeah. And then Indy is, I think they got a winning record, even though Ryan's not starting right now.
Didn't they trade their running back or something today?
Yes.
Yeah, he got traded to Buffalo.
Hines. Yeah. Hines got
Right.
traded to Buffalo. That is, boy, I'll tell you what a move that's going to be. He's a great guy out of the back.
They were talking about the Eagles today for him, like the last second, like last 2 hours before the deadline. Like, don't be surprised. They're snooping around about Hines. I'm like, wow. That'd be great.
But it's a shame. That's what I thought that. Who's the other running back the Eagles have? Gainwell. I thought Gainwell was going to be that type of guy.
So did
He's
I.
not the guy.
I'm
for some
high
reason.
on him this year.
Yeah. So I don't
I was
know.
the one who said Miles Sanders was going to have under 900 yards. Remember that?
Yes. Yep. I do.
I
All right,
agree.
we're gonna wrap this up because it's almost 10 of 8. The Phillies start pretty soon. So another one in the books. Thanks so much again. Flying high with the birds. Philadelphia Eagles talk. We'll see you next week, guys.
There you go.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
Later.
Yeah.